Good morning, campers. Welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. Got something a little different for you today. Well, I mean, not really that different from Euro Truck Simulator as it ever is, but I'm recording using my capture device rather than my typical capture software. So the quality of the recording should be a little bit better, since it lets my computer focus more on playing the game than capturing the video. Frees up a lot of processor power. And the frame rate jump went from like 15 frames per second on these settings to solid, I think 30 or 40. So should be a 30 frame per second video. That's what I've told it to go for. Yeah, so I have tried to record this video twice already and realized I didn't have audio at all in the first one, and not good audio in the second one. So, good start. Good start. Alright, that car got out of the way? Alright. Let the various vehicles go by. Force my way into traffic. And we are on our way once again. Despite a minor accident because I wasn't paying enough attention. So I've tweaked some settings in my wheel since last time I played. I also just came over to the mainland of Europe from the UK, so expect me to maybe do some silly UK driving things. But I've put on some non-linear steering effects on my wheel since it doesn't have a very it doesn't travel very far when you make a turn. So that should help me oof, that's always such a tight turn there. That should help me make finer corrections when I'm by making larger movements of the wheel. So since my wheel only turns about 200 degrees total, it did not play very well with Euro Truck Simulator, which is like a squeezing 900 degrees of wheel rotation into that 200 degrees of actual wheel. So it's I've made it non-linear. So small movements of my wheel equal small movements of the wheel in the game, and large movements of my wheel will spin the thing significantly more. So like 1 degree of rotation is less near neutral than it is near the outer edges of where my wheel can turn. So that will allow me to not be completely all over the road like I was in the previous attempt to drive this game. But yeah, I just had an itch to play some more Euro Truck Simulator 2. I love this game. It's so much fun. It's weirdly relaxing after a long day of work, especially probably because I don't actually do any driving myself. I just hit that guy and it didn't charge me for it. And I'm all over the road even though I said I wasn't going to be. Oops. But I don't actually do any driving in real life, so this kind of thing can be relaxing for me. Because I don't even have my scooter anymore. It died on me a couple weeks ago, so I'm walking to work and back 5 days a week, which is 4 miles in each direction, which has made me exceptionally healthy at the moment. I don't think I haven't been this skinny since college, actually. Which is a nice change of pace. Not particularly skinny in either case, but still. Nice to be somewhat healthy. But anyway, the reason I'm recording this is because well, there's 5, probably 7 or 8 by now, inches of snow on the ground outside, and I get the feeling I'm going to be spending a lot of time inside this week. So I wanted to experience the lovely weather of Europe rather than the awful weather that's outside right now. As you can see, the game has happily obliged by sending me into a monsoon. Well, that was unexpected. I think the oncoming lane there is closed, so they're alternating traffic. I wonder if there's a little dude with a sign there if you have pedestrians turned on. Damn it. I didn't wait for the car in front of me to go and I just rammed him. And there he goes. Did he just wait the exact right amount of time that I'm going to get? Yes, he did. That jerk. Oy. That was real nice. That was real nice. So anyway, big snow system moving through my region today. I'm pretty much in the bullseye for the biggest snow amounts. Well, the bullseye is just a tiny bit to my north, but we're pretty close. We're looking at probably 9 inches of snow overnight. Like I said, there was 5 on the ground already when I checked over an hour ago, and we had a pretty big snowburst move through here a little while ago. It might have switched to sleet by now. Be interesting to see. I think it's going to stay more snow than sleet. The sleet line was setting up further south of here. I would very much like to go onwards, please. Thank you. Alright, we have gotten free of that little interesting construction zone. That was we are going downhill or something. I'm increasing speed without hitting the gas. That guy's just flying around that corner. Or I'm not used to seeing them at a normal frame rate and don't have the proper frame of reference for the speeds of oncoming vehicles. One or the other. Probably the latter. It's so nice to actually get to record a video with the game playing the way it normally plays when I'm not recording videos. It's a nice upgrade. It really is. Yeah, so I can't encourage that enough. If you've got if you want to do any sort of video recording, get some sort of capture device that is separate from your actual computer, because that is a heck of an improvement over the amount of processing power available for the computer. And I suppose if you have a really, really beefy computer, you can probably get away with using capture software rather than a capture device, but the device has been such an improvement. Alright, so how am I doing on fuel and fatigue? About halfway on both, so I still got a little bit of distance to go. I'm heading for Milan. By the way, I realize I haven't had a chance to say that yet in this since I've had to restart the recording. But yeah, this is kind of I guess the second workaholic-y thing, as the Forza Horizon video I did, well, for Tuesday. But so yesterday, if you are watching this video, the first moment it's out. I just recorded it a few minutes ago, as far as I'm concerned, and that wound up being more of a talky thing. This one is probably going to be much the same, though I'm going to try not to go over the same topics. I'm quite looking forward to the American version of this game that is set for release sometime this year. When it's done, I believe, is the official release date. When it's done. I'm also kind of excited to finish my recording tonight because the Minecraft folks just released their 20th, the first episode of their 20th ultra hardcore Minecraft challenge. That's going to be fun. Those are always so much fun to watch. I'd love to get maybe involved in one of those at some point, but I'm not that good at Minecraft, so I don't know. Maybe try something with my friends. Oh, speaking of, I have started a podcast with some friends of mine. I was not the originator of the idea. A friend of mine got it organized, but I jumped on board and it wound up with a lot of the tech behind it has wound up being from me. I figured out how to record the thing, and I figured out how to host it and get it online as well. So we finally got that working, and the first 2 episodes of that are up on my website. There's a link to the website at the end of this video. If you just click the "Thank you for watching" button, it'll take you straight there, and you'll find the podcast under podcasts. It's called The Lunchroom. It's a play on a thing with some friends of mine. We all met. We were kind of social outcasts in middle school. And me in particular, I was teased so badly that a teacher unlocked a side room for me that I could sit in and eat lunch. And so I wouldn't have to go into the cafeteria and get mercilessly teased by all the other kids. Because I was a fat 6th grader. Well, 7th grader at that point, I think. I was fat in school, so I got teased a lot. It was not fun. But I wound up getting a couple friends to come eat lunch with me because no one wants to eat alone. And so we realized eventually that all the conversations we were having were basically just continuations of those same conversations we would have had 7 years ago. That's not 7 years ago anymore, is it? That's... Let's see, 2009 was 7 years. So... 13 years ago? 14? 15? Oh my god. No, 13 years ago. Yeah, I was right the first time. Right, my brakes are not what they... not what I thought they were. Need to get on them sooner for stopping for such things as these. Alright, 2009 was 7 years. So it was 2002, it was 2015. Yeah, 13 years. I can math. 13 years since then, and we're having a lot of the same conversations. So it's mostly video games. Video games, Magic the Gathering. Was some talk about special effects stuff. One of my friends is getting involved in a lot of acting, and he's been doing that stuff, and we talked a bit about that in the first episode. Am I gonna clear that? Yes, I am. Alright. Another one of my friends is kind of into anime, and then another one's into a lot of comic books, and so far my topics have been Magic the Gathering and Kerbal Space Program. So, oh, and the silliness that Microsoft did with their game content usage rules, which I follow for my Forza Horizon series. Though pretty much all the episodes we've recorded are completely out of date because it took us so long to get them up and running. We do still have one more to go before they are all uploaded, and then we've got to start recording some new ones that will actually be topical, at least, I hope. You know, one wants to think that any of the shows we record will still be useful at some points. But being realistic, you know, I don't think it's not quite as exciting to talk about Fate Reforged spoilers, which is the second episode, is me talking about Fate Reforged spoilers for the first 20 minutes. And not quite as exciting to talk about those a month after the set's released or a year after the set's released, but we still had a lot of fun with it. So check that podcast out. It was a lot of fun, and we're hoping to keep that going. I do the editing on it, so there's some rough bits, but you'd be surprised some of the stuff I managed to cut out without there being noticeable gaps in the conversation. But there's some points where I had to delete something, and it's a little bit obvious, or someone will cut themselves off and have a completely different tone of voice because they were saying something completely different beforehand, and it sounds a little strange, like they stopped talking and then changed topic mid-sentence or changed tone. Like there's no solid cut that you hear, but you can tell that there's been an edit just from the way they're talking. It's very strange, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of neat to look into that stuff. I don't edit audio very often. This is a nice peaceful drive here. How far do I have to go? Don't look down there. 12 hours according to the game, and I will need a rest stop in less than that. Alright, pay more attention to the road. I was drifting a lot there. Coming up on a, what is this, a border? Yeah, this looks like a border. So yeah, the podcast is technically being hosted on my site, though the main feed is through FeedBurner. I just use my site to populate the feed, because that was the easiest way to do it. So technically the files are being hosted on my server space, but it's the podcast itself is the brainchild of a friend of mine named Joe, and he may not talk the most in the podcast, but he's the mastermind. So it's definitely his thing. It's just kind of funny that I've wound up being the tech geek behind it, just because I have this limited experience I've had from doing the YouTube stuff. I've wound up in, and I listen to more podcasts than anyone else in our group. Mostly because of my walking to work. I wind up, because, you know, it's 4 miles each direction. It takes me about an hour and 15 minutes to do the walk at a normal pace. And you go through a lot of podcasts with, you know, 2.5 hours worth of walking per day, just going to work and back. You devour a lot of podcasts. And a lot of audiobooks when you can afford it. Speaking of audiobooks, the stuff I usually listened to when I had an Audible subscription, I don't anymore. I gave mine to my mother, and she is steadily devouring every Western that they have on there. And she even just segue from story to story, but she the first audiobook she tried to download with her Audible subscription that I got her was she tried to listen to 50 Shades of Grey. She didn't know what it was, because she'd just heard all her friends talking about how great it was, and she did not know the subject matter. And so the first thing I had to teach my mother about Audible was how to return a book, because she was not pleased with the interesting things that happened in that novel. Which I talked to her earlier today. I said, so what do you think about the 50 Shades of Grey movie? She's like, I can't believe they made a film out of that. How'd they even get that in theaters? It was a humorous conversation. I tease her mercilessly for accidentally downloading porn for her very first audiobook. But I personally tended to listen to science fiction stuff on there. In particular, probably my favorite audiobook I had was there's an abridged version of Contact, read by Jodie Foster herself, who played Ellie Arroway in the film version of Contact. And it's a really good abridged version. They cut out a lot of the filler stuff, and they condensed what is the book hits a lot of the same points as Sagan's Old Cosmos TV show. So there's a lot of just random science asides that aren't really necessary for the story. So the abridged version of the audiobook just kind of sticks to the story beats, and it was really good, really well done. The production values were very high. It's still on all of my listening devices just because I love that audiobook so much. I need to merge, get out of my way. Yeah, the audiobooks I typically listen to were almost all Star Wars stuff. And I wound up consuming a lot of the books that were released in the last 4 or 5 years that way. And much to my disappointment, when all of a sudden all of those books were no longer canon. So I've been kind of reluctant to get back into that. The last one I got, the last audiobook I downloaded, the very last one was Star Wars Crucible by Troy Denning, which was the kind of the grand finale to the Star Wars Legacy universe, is I guess what they're calling it now, which was the universe built around the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy once those came out. But you want an interesting project. Read the books that were published before the original trilogy, and the books that were published by the same authors after the original trilogy, and watch how they all changed their stories to fit in with the new movies as they came out. It's really cool bits of storytelling that were done there. So I've been a little reluctant to jump into the new Star Wars novels, since I felt Crucible was such a great cap on the old universe. But I did finally pick up a paperback copy of the last X-Wing novel, Wraith Squadron, which was really sad to hear the author of that series passed away not too long after that book was published, sometime last year, I think, at a convention. Just, okay, he stopped, good. But, so he's not going to be writing anything in the new universe, so I went and picked up that novel, because Wraith Squadron, just one of the best series of Star Wars novels out there. They had, the X-Wing novels, the, 5th, 6th, and 7th novels in the series, as well as the 9th, were all about them. Well, the 9th one was not so much about them. The same author, but different, slightly different group there. But then they also popped up in the New Jedi Order novels by the same author, and a couple of them had guest appearances in other series that the guy worked on in the same universe. Just a good series of characters, and just very funny for Star Wars books, especially. And they brought he brought his characters into the later part of the Star Wars universe very nicely. And it's just sad that that's not going to continue in any way, since the author passed away. And that was, as far as I'm concerned, the end of the Legacy universe for me. And I'm not sure I want to get invested in the new Star Wars universe just yet. I did pick up the novel of James Luceno's latest novel, Star Wars Tarkin, because he was a very good author in the old expanded universe. I jokingly pointed to him as a great example of an author that does a lot of canon wrangling to make sure his books fit in with the movies as they came out. Even to the point where he published a novel year before last, I think, called Darth Plagueis, which, based off of a couple throwaway lines in Revenge of the Sith, wrote an entire backstory for Emperor Palpatine and his master, and set up the events of the first two Star Wars movies, not the original two, but Episode 1 and Episode 2. And that included a whole bunch of references to things that happened outside of the movies that had been established as canon technically, but not really referenced by any other works, even where they should have been. So he's pulling references to comics that no one ever read, to young adult books that only kids ever read and the adults never really looked at. He's got references to video games, in particular a lot of references to the game Star Wars Bounty Hunter that was out on GameCube and original Xbox, and I guess PS2. That was all about how Jango Fett was picked for as the template for the clone army. And there were some interesting things in that just never popped up in any other novel, and Luceno set that as a main thing that got referenced a lot in Darth Plagueis. So he's He's very good at making the canon work where it can, so I'm interested to see how he's going to retcon events in the new universe to still include some of the events from novels published before. Now, technically, every old novel is out of the timeline. Even the ones based on the movies, I think, are out of the timeline because a lot of them reference stuff that happened between the movies that is no longer part of the canon. The canon at this point is just the films and like this one novel and the Clone Wars cartoon. I can't forget that. But curious to see. I heard he brought in at least one of his old books. Most of the events of that are considered to have happened in the new universe now because of something he wrote in Tarkin. So curious to see how that turns out. I quite like the Star Wars novels, but I don't know. It depends on how the new movie shapes up. If the new movie's really good, then the books will be really good. If not, who knows? Also, I'm very curious to see who they've got writing the novel for the new movie, because that's how I'm going to read. That's how I'm going to experience the events of the new film first, is through the novel. It's my tradition with Star Wars stuff, because usually the novel, at least for episode 2 and episode 3, the novel came out first. I'm apparently tired, judging from my character yawning in my ears and sounding like someone standing right behind me. So we're going to pull in at this rest stop up here, top off our gas tank, and rest for the night. You still got 364 miles to go to Milan, Italy. Alright, so now that you all have to pee, I will restart my engine. Pull into this parking spot up here. Looks about right. One thing I would really love to get for this game is some sort of gear shift lever. Just so I can try this with a manual transmission. Let's get on the brake. Parking brake off. And gently merge back into traffic like nothing ever happened. We are once more on the road to wherever the heck we're going. Milan, I think I said? And we are at approaching 30 minutes of recording time in this epic journey. And you're going to see the whole damn thing. I'm not cutting any of this journey this time. I don't care if this video is an hour long. I'm enjoying this. It's relaxing to me. My frame rate's not terrible for once. Oh, I'm going way too damn fast. There's no speed cameras out here. actually catching up with traffic. That's a not something that happens very often with me in this game. I'm not sure how it gives out speeding tickets. I think it's only at the speed cameras and toll booths. But it might also be based on how much other traffic there is. It might be willing to... Nope. Entering a no passing zone. I know better than to get a wrong way offense. That's way, way worse than a speeding offense. I am not in this to lose money. Speaking of, I need to pull over at some point and check on how my AI drivers are doing. I've got a couple of those in this game. Which, since I've played enough of the multiplayer mod, they haven't been doing anything, and I'm losing money on them. What I would love for this game is just like a co-op multiplayer mode. So it's just you directly connecting to another person, and the game just plays out like normal. But with that other player's truck is one of the other cars. It syncs up your traffic and whatnot, so it doesn't kill your single player game. You can still do the tycoon stuff on the side. Alright, we've jumped up one spot in this little traffic procession here. Once we get to the next passing zone, I should be able to get around this other big rig. Since I have my Volvo is souped up as much as it can get, as much horsepower as you can pretty much have in this game without a mod. And I definitely seem to have a lighter load than he does. I don't know what I have though. What am I carrying? That looks dangerous. And that was expertly done, if I do say so myself. Freaked out the oncoming traffic a tiny bit, but, well, they survived. They survived. It's a toll highway off to my left there. Alright, so this should be a passing zone coming up here. No reason it wouldn't be. And it's not. Oh, it's a bridge. That's a good reason it wouldn't be. Oh, I am straddling the white line there. Let's not. This is where I wish I had a left-hand drive truck. I can't see the oncoming traffic while I'm behind this guy. Well, I just murdered someone. Yep, that was, there's our excitement for this episode of Workaholic in Euro Truck Simulator 2. Ah, that was terrifying. Hope I didn't damage the cargo too much. I'm only getting 60,000 for this trip. I think it was 60,000? I don't actually remember. It was the best cost per mile that of any of the jobs that were available in London at the time. Now that was a much better overtake. I didn't kill anyone. Or myself. This is a surprisingly developed area, considering I'm not in a city itself. A proper city, I mean. Make sure I don't accidentally clip that car that was getting ready to turn there. Let's try not to overtake much traffic on this road from here out, I think. Ignore that crappy mountain texture in the background. So yeah, I got the podcast launched with my friends. I talked about the changes that are going to happen to my video schedule in the Forza Horizon video, which if you haven't watched that, I blame you for all my problems. I'm kidding. It's not a very popular series, but I enjoy making it, so I keep doing it. Basically, I'm going to switch Forza Horizon down to only 2 videos per week and try and fill the other 3 slots with things like this and other video games. I'm going to start planning. I'm planning to start maybe Never Alone, just a generic Let's Play of that. No Workaholic or anything for that game. And then also I've got the Master Chief Collection for Halo. And I've got a friend who wants to play that with me, and that might, one of the podcast people, and that might become a thing we do as kind of extension of the podcast, which, that would be a lot of fun, I think. Finally get some content with another person in it on my channel. I need that sort of thing to keep growing. It can't just be me talking at you for eternity. I'm not that good at it. There's far too many awkward silences. And I find myself mimicking YouTubers I watch rather than having my own thing, which I don't like. I feel like I feel almost like I'm stealing too much from people like Kurt J. Mack and Vintage Beef, and let me think of someone to name that's not part of Mindcrack. Whitticus and Gamer Zach and Nerdcubed in particular. Though at least I haven't stolen his accent. That would be pretty embarrassing. Apparently, I sound Canadian, though. That was something someone said to me at work not too long ago. Is that apparently I say sorry like a Canadian. I don't know how, but I guess that's just a thing. I honestly can't hear a difference between how I say sorry and how everyone else does. So, I don't know, maybe I watch too much Canadian television. Or maybe they're just making fun of the fact that I say sorry a lot. I don't know. But apparently I sound just Canadian enough that people don't think I'm actually from this little nowhere city in southern Virginia. Currently buried under a layer of snow that is more snow than I think we got the entire last year before this. Just quite a lot of the white fluffy stuff. That was a nice, effective pass. No traffic oncoming. I had plenty of time to duck out of the way if I saw someone coming from around the corner. I'm going way too fast down this on-ramp. Thank goodness there was no traffic here, or that would have been pretty terrible. My wheel is... The cables on my wheel don't have anywhere to go. They're like right up against my keyboard, so the whole wheel was kind of turned a little bit there, which made that entire merging thing awkward. It doesn't... I'm like the only person apparently who has a wheel that doesn't bolt to my desk. The wheel just kind of slides around on the table because it's just got some soft feet that are supposed to keep it sitting mostly still. Otherwise, it relies on me to hold the wheel still while I'm using it. Just from the downward motion of pushing on the wheel to turn it. It's actually not a bad design. I think it's intended. It was intended as a GameCube controller, and it just also happened to have a USB port or a USB plug and a PlayStation 2 plug. And yeah, it's a lovely little PC steering wheel now. Got it really cheap one day at GameStop, like $5 for an entire pedal and steering wheel setup because it was so outdated. Yay! I'm actually getting income from my AI drivers. Sweet, another border. What country are we entering now? Switzerland? I'm about to bump into something. Looks like Switzerland. Presumably they'll have plenty of army knives here. Alright, so remember what I was saying about not being all over the road? I was not factoring in how tired I might be by now. Ooh, there is still soda in this, so one moment. Took a moment there to enjoy some of my delicious, delicious store-brand black cherry soda. Because one of my weaknesses is store-brand strange flavored sodas. Tend to be surprisingly good. Though, one downside of the black cherry soda is it's not caffeinated, which I did not know when I bought it. So it's, I don't know. Part of the reason I drink soda is for the extra little kick that you can get when you're tired. It's like if I didn't want the kick, I could just drink flavored water and not have to worry about the acid stuff in my mouth, you know? I don't really drink caffeine any other way, so... Not a fan of energy drinks, and I don't like coffee or tea. So soda's pretty much it for me as far as the caffeinated drinks go. Which some of my religious friends jokingly said made me pretty much almost a Mormon already. Oh, I almost clipped that light pole with my trailer. Pretty much immediately taking the next exit, so no need to merge out of this lane. My phone is vibrating. I am about to do something extremely dangerous and check my phone while driving. Again, I don't actually drive in real life, so I have no practice at this whatsoever. And I've already drifted out of my lane. That was smooth. Looking back at the screen again, turn, turn, turn. This is probably why cruise control was invented. I can see now why people miss having cell phones with buttons on them. I know my old cell phone, I could type on it without looking because I knew what each button was by touch alone. I do not have that with this current device in my hand with the touch screen. I am drifting lanes again, aren't I? Yes, I am. Oh! Alright, let's just stop. Check this real quick. Nothing important. Of course not. Why would it be something important? I just wrecked my truck for it. That's probably a couple thousand in damage. Oh boy. Okay, let's get up to 50 and stick with that. Stay in my lane and not do anything stupid like trying to check a text message while driving. I could make like a billboard out of that incident. Just like find a way to retroactively record myself looking at my phone so you can just see how horribly fast that went downhill. That was terrible. Oh good, my gearbox is messed up. That was just the sound I wanted to hear. Alright, we are taking the next exit. Next city exit. I need to, F5? Alright, I don't see a nearby service station on there anywhere. I don't want to actually pause the game, because I don't feel like I'd be able to just check a map out of nowhere and sit still in this thing. But I will pull over at the next available location to check the map and see where the nearest services are. Well, this is gorgeous. I don't think I've ever been to this part of the map. It's a hot air balloon. Shit. Alright, so my engine is at the point where it's malfunctioning. I just restarted it while rolling forwards. Luckily I have the ignition button as mapped to my controller. To my steering wheel, I should say. Oh, oh dear, my hat switch actually does control my point of view. Interesting. I did not know I had mapped that in this game. Because the D-pad's generally kind of useless in these sorts of games, right? I've got the mouse here for actually looking around the cabin, which is much better when I don't wreck. It's a little late at night where I am. I'm getting tired, and I'm being stupid. That is exactly what's happening here. I've taken far too long of a mission, and it has become some sort of marathon thing. Coming up on 50 minutes long now. That was slightly terrifying. Alright, Alright, coming out of the tunnel. That's interesting. I guess it was only one lane through there. I did not realize. Very good thing I did not attempt to pass this guy in front of me. So I guess it wouldn't have let me. Can I drive through this? Nope. Sometimes you can drive through those, but, oh, I've definitely not been here. It just painted that entire section of the road. It got painted, orange to show I've been here now. It's interesting. I did not know this was an entirely new area for me. Which means I'm even less likely to find myself at a service station than normal. Alright, looks like we got a border crossing coming up here. Or just a generic rest area. Usually the generic rest areas have gas stations in them. So this is probably a border crossing. So you may be entering another country here, maybe Italy, if my geographical noggin is correct. But we are going to pull over and use this as an excuse to look for a service station that I can head for. Get my engine looked at after I ran a car down by accident. I should have gone to that inside lane, but I didn't. So we are going to parallel park a 18-wheeler trailer. Looks alright to me. Alright, hope my engine actually turns back on when I'm done. Where's the nearest service station? Well, crap. It's in the town we're going to. Apparently I have been here before. No, I came here from the other direction. Okay, that's why that's a known region. So the next nearest repair location would be turning around and going back to either Bern or Zurich. I think Milan is the best bet there still. What about Torrance? Nope. Alright, so let's go to... that would be completely out of my way, and it would be faster to go to Milan, since that's where I'm supposed to go anyway. So let's go drop off my cargo, get this thing fixed up, and move on with our lives. Do I need to rest? I do need to rest. Let's go ahead and rest. Oh, there's music now, because I guess I'm late. Or I guess I'm almost late. I don't know which. My frame rate's also gotten a little bit lower. Curious. Very curious indeed. That was his fault, not mine. I had the right of way there. I think. I actually don't know. Like, you're supposed to give traffic pulling into the highway room, right? Isn't that how that works? Because you don't want them just completely stopping, because then the lane will get backed up and you'll never actually get anywhere. I just made him slam on his brakes. I feel bad. Oh, right. Dual carriageway. Let's not blind people with our high beams. Dramatic, dramatic music. Race to the finish. It's kind of cool, right? This is definitely kind of cool. I'm squeezing that car on my left. Let's get away from him so he pulls forward. Alright, we're good. Almost lost the engine there. Seems to have recovered just fine. Slightly speeding. I need to, expected... No shit, I'm late. I shouldn't have stopped for that second sleep. Or, you know, crashed twice. Stay in lane, stay in lane, stay in lane! Drama, 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 drama. I didn't know this game had music in it. I guess it just pops up when you start getting late for a delivery. I assume that's why it's playing music. I don't think I turned on the radio. I really hope it's not copyrighted music. This is going to be a little awkward if it is. I have to take down this whole hour-long thing I've done. It is almost an hour long. That's perfect. I probably have enough fuel to get there. I don't know that I have enough fuel to get anywhere else after that, but I probably have enough fuel to get there. That's a strange thing about this game, is in real life, pretty darn hard to find a city that doesn't have diesel fuel in it. In this game, you only find fuel on the highways between cities. You don't get fuel in the city unless you buy a garage there and upgrade it. Shift, 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 shift. That sign was misleading. It said both these lanes could get to Milan, and then one of them just turns and dives off the road. So I'm very glad I merged left there. Else I would have been sent away from here. In the USA, that kind of sign points down at the lanes that you can stay in that will not be leaving the freeway. And I guess in this part of the world, they are not required to do that. Or that's not part of their design, is they're not very strict about whether or not the lane stays on or leaves. Not actually being the driver at any point, I have far too much time to pay attention to how freeway signs are done in the United States. That was smooth. Managed to do that without losing too much speed or killing myself. Latter being the slightly more important of the two there. Left turn. Coming up. Glad that was not an actual red light. That was close. That was closer. Eh. What the heck is going on with the intersections in this city? Alright, here's my location. Where's my parking spot? There it is. Got it. Whew. Glad I am good at the parking part of this. Alright, my late penalty wasn't too terribly bad, only 4,000. Cut my reward pretty much in half. Well, no, it just took all my bonus from the reward. Nice. So that should have been worth a lot more money than that, but it was not. Let's get to the service station, which looks like it's over this way. Oh good, a red light, just what I wanted. But I do appreciate y'all joining me. God damn it. On this fascinating adventure through rural Italy, Switzerland, Germany, France, and very briefly, though you did not see it, God damn it! There was also some UK driving in this, though no sound. No sound for that part, so it's not included. You don't have to sit through that. You've already been through an hour. Maybe I will edit this down. I don't know. No, I'm putting it up in its entirety. No one's going to watch this who doesn't want to watch a simulator video anyway. So, thank you all so much for watching. The people that watch the simulator videos are the people that I understand. They are the people I have most in common with. This is not a service station. This is a hotel. Stall the engine. God, my engine sounds terrible. Gotta get this to the garage and get it fixed. Then I can come back to the hotel. Oh, it's a Scania dealer. That's, interesting. Hope they don't mind me bringing a Volvo. Alright. Fixed. And we are... Oh my god, 15,000. There went half of what I made on that trip. Just to fixing the truck. Because I'm dumb and I hit things. So let that be a lesson to you. Do not run cars over. It's not good. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow with another episode of Forza Horizon 2. And then again on Friday with something new. Have a great evening. Possibly some extra videos if the snow gets crazy and I don't go to work. We'll see. One or the other. One or the other.